This is a Dude Studios production. And hey, I'm the dude.
Hey bartender, pass me a drink. The reason that I'm here is I need time to think.
Welcome back to Hey Bartender Podcast. I am your bartender for the evening. I am the dude, so that's what you call me. Or Anthony's good too, but lately I've been answering the dude a lot easier, so I've even forgotten my own name. Can you believe that shit? So anyway, how's everybody doing tonight? How's it going? It has been a really hot week out where I'm here. I'm podcasting out in West Texas, and my God, you could cook, well, not just an egg. You can probably do a whole brisket. Oh shit, that pretty much proves that I'm in Texas. Do a whole brisket right on your sidewalk in front of your house. I mean, it's probably not that bad compared to some of the places I've seen that listen to my show, but 107 degrees, that's fucking hot to a guy like me. I was born and raised in the Northwest. It never got that fucking hot. But enough complaining about that. We got to get the show started. So how do we start the show? As usual, we got to start with today's drink special. This drink special comes from Abraham Ace Castellanos. Castellanos. Oh, I'm going to go with that. He calls this drink the Frisky Sour. Okay, how you make the Frisky Sour goes. 1.5 ounces of Maker's Mark, half an ounce of Applerusa. I'll put it on the website. 1 ounce lemon juice, 3/4 ounce simple syrup, garnished with a peach slice and mint spring. Sounds like something that you're going to have to put into a shaker, shake it up a little bit, so you can get that true mixture. Aparolusa. I'll have to look that one up later. Somebody help me out. Anyway, that is the drink special of the day, the Frisky Sour. I got that off the Fraternal Order of Bartenders member Abraham Ace Castellanos. He's contributed a lot to Hey Bartender, or to the Fraternal Order of Bartenders. So if you know him, somebody thank him for me. If you actually know him, that I used the drink, because he posted it on a public forum, and I feel the need to relay that information off to you guys. Because we all need to know all these drinks out here, or at least kind of experiment with them, and see if get people to try new things. That's one of the really groovy things. Being a bartender, you ask somebody what they want to drink, and all they say is alcohol. So you put something together for them. So you bring this new drink into your bar, get somebody to try it. If you know them well enough, they like sour drinks, they like whiskey. Get them to try the Frisky Sour or any of the other drinks that I've brought up on this podcast. Have a little bit of fun with it. Use it as your drink special. I don't care. So anyway, today's podcast, I decided, I was been reading up on all the social media posts out there, and I started seeing a lot of postings from people. Do you do favors for your customers? Now, by favors, of course, do you offer them a ride home when you're done with your work? Do you loan them money or something like that? Now, based on my experience, majority of the time, you'll do it for regulars. But here's a quick story of a girl that I had absolutely no idea who she was, where she was from, what she was doing. And at first, at least, and I got volunteered to drive her home. So it's Saturday night, and the bar is hella busy. I got four people deep, 3 people wide at my bar, and I'm just throwing drinks like crazy. And eventually, my server, who didn't spend much time out on the floor at that time, that's a different story. She all of a sudden spotted in the crowd this girl that was standing next to the wall, on the verge of crying. And so she went out to go check on her. And apparently, as the story goes, she was cruising the bars around the area that I worked. Like I've told you guys before, the area that I worked had a bunch of bars, and the bars that I usually worked at were open later or more convenient for most people that want to party on the weekends. So she goes over, talks to her for a little while, and apparently she was out hanging out with her friends, and then all of a sudden she lost her friends. She doesn't know where they went, what they did. Did they jump in the car, go to another bar? Did they jump in their car, go home? And so she was walking around trying to find where her friends were at. She couldn't find them. And this is the early days of cell phone technology, people. I'm going to date myself here. You couldn't just send out a text or use that Find Me app to track down your friends. You basically had to. It was back in the Nokia 5100 series days. That's how far back this goes. And so she couldn't really track down her friends, and I guess I don't even know if she had a cell phone, truthfully. Anyway, so my server went to talk to her, and she said, I don't know where my friends are at. I don't know how I'm going to get home. And it was at closing time. We were just going through last call. I'm getting everybody a drink that wants to get one more quick one in before they go home or head off to the next bar. And as we're cleaning up, all of a sudden, my waitress comes over to me and says, there's that girl over there. She's waiting for her friends. She's hoping that her friends swing by here to find her, pick her up. And I said, that's fine. She just chill out there. No big deal. We just can't give her any more drinks. And if she has a drink in front of her after 1:30, we have to take it away. So, give her like coffee, water, Coke, whatever. And so pretty much left it at that. And when we finally finished up cleaning up the whole bar, she was still sitting there and still looking like she was on the verge of crying. I was volunteered by the servers. Oh, don't worry. Anthony will take you home. And I said, oh, yeah, sure. Don't even worry about it. And she's like, are you sure? And I said, yeah. Where do you live? She told me where she lived. And I said, it's on my way home. And, she put a little bit of trust in me because I'm a guy that she had no idea who I was, what I was doing, or what I was into. But she decided to trust me because I was giving her a ride home. She was a little bit desperate at that point. I don't even remember if we offered her a cab or anything like that. But yeah, we all exited the restaurant through the back door like we always did, and I took her over to my car. I was driving a red Plymouth Neon at the time, stripped down, very basics red Plymouth Neon, and put her in my car, and I drove her home. We had a light conversation on the way back, and truthfully, I did hit on her a little bit because she did look gorgeous that night, and I thought it was a shame that her friends just left her. But it didn't go anywhere past that. She just said, okay, right here's good. She goes, that apartment complex over there. And I said, okay, and stopped the car. And she goes, right here is good. And I said, all right, hope you can track down your friends. And she said, all right, thank you so much for the ride. And I said, not even out of my way. And I left. The next shift that I worked, there was question. My coworkers did come up and question me. Did anything happen? And I said, nope, not a thing. And one of my good friends, she actually teased me about it. Of course, Anthony's too damn nice to try to take advantage of a girl like in a situation like that. Now all my listeners out there, you can take or leave that the way you want, whether it's the truth, but that's how the story goes. They knew I wasn't going to try to take advantage of the girl. I wasn't going to do anything disrespectful, and they were right. If I knew where that girl was today or even the day after, I'd bring her on the show to vouch for me. Well, my friend Shannon, she'd vouch for me. She knows I don't try to pull that sort of thing. But if she gave me an offer, I probably wouldn't refuse because I was single and she was looking really good that night. But for perfect strangers, me as the bartender doing favors for them, uh, even regular customers, it took a lot for me to want to help people out. Uh, um, Sometimes I wondered if I was just being an asshole, but it was very rare that I would do any specific favors for customers other than maybe call them a cab. If somebody came up to me and said, "Hey, I don't have any money. I don't get paid till Thursday, and it's Tuesday. If you could help me out tonight," and I'd say, "Dude, I'm sorry, I don't got the cash," which usually I didn't because I'm stupid with money, and and by stupid I mean as soon as I got money, I usually spent it. But uh, you know, customers would every once in a while ask me for money, and no, I can't do that. And but for coworkers or people that were also in the service industry with me, if they were regular customers, I was more inclined to help them than somebody that comes off their 9 to 5 job and comes into the bar and accidentally stays too late or spends too much money in video poker. I was way more inclined to help out coworkers and people that were in the service industry. The way I helped out people in the service industry, it was never monetarily. They never asked me for money because they always had money on them. They just got tipped that night, and so I knew they had money on them, but they never asked for that. The occasional ride home, yes, they just be like, "I can't drive home. Can you give me a ride home? And I'll just come back and get my car tomorrow." And I just, yeah, no, sure, no problem. I never had to drive extremely far out of the way. In fact, I never did because most of the bartenders and servers that worked in that town lived in that town, except for me. I lived half hour, 45 minutes away. And, but I was always more than happy to take a coworker back to their house or somebody also that was in the service industry. There were times though where some situations I felt like I got taken advantage of, and because don't worry, Anthony will take you home, and it's just like, you know what? I'm not a taxi service. After a while, when you start to feel like you're getting taken advantage of, it really starts to wear on you. And I don't worry, we can drink tonight. Anthony will take us home. You know, all right. I didn't have the courage ever to just blurt out no. So, because I knew if I did, all of a sudden everybody would turn on me. It was, what? All of a sudden you're not giving people rides home? What are you, some kind of asshole? That's the type of thing that would always get me in trouble as a person and a bartender. Is, sure, I'd be generous for a little while, but the second I start to feel like I'm being taken advantage of and say no, all of a sudden I'm the bad guy. It still boggles me to this day how friends can sit back and say, "Hey, why don't we go out tonight?" And I'll say, "No, I don't feel like going out tonight," because their goal is to go to the bar, get a few drinks in their system, and go home. But they need a designated driver, and that's where non-drinking bartender Anthony comes in, because I could be designated driver, and I'd be more than happy to drive anybody anywhere all over creation with nobody paying for gas. But it would come to a point where it's just like, they would talk me into it. I'd take them. And it's, how weird it is being the only sober person in a bar? Well, that's always me. I'm always the only, or at least one of the sober people in the bar, because one, I don't drink, and two, if I do, it's maybe one beer. And once in a while, they talk me into taking a shot, but then that would hit my system like a piano being dropped on me, and then I go, no more. not happening because I don't have any tolerance whatsoever. And so they would automatically think of me. Hey, can you drive us here? Can you drive us there? And then all of a sudden one day, it'll come up where they say, hey, we're all going out to this place. Can you pick us up? And I'll just go, no, I don't want to go out tonight. I want to stay home and rewatch the Star Wars trilogy that I've seen, 5-6 times a year ever since I was born. And then all of a sudden they're like, come on, let's go out. And no, I don't really want to go out tonight. And I don't have the money for gas. I don't have, and I got to work in the morning. And then all of a sudden, geez, why are you such a bad mood tonight? I'm not in a bad mood. I just don't want to go anywhere. And so and then all of a sudden they turn it on me to try to guilt me into driving them places. It worked some of the time. All right, fine, I'll come and get you. The worst one was the girl I was hanging out with at the time. She just got herself a temporary boyfriend. I say temporary because he already had a girlfriend that traveled a lot because she worked in the airline industry. And as soon as she got home, all of a sudden they weren't dating anymore. And she called me up one night and says, hey, come over to where she was at the time. Pick me and Dipshit up. My words, not hers. Pick me and Dipshit up and take us to Taco Bell. Now, the key to this whole story was that there were 6 inches of snow and ice out everywhere in town. And I said, no. I'm not driving through the snow and ice to come pick you up, to take you to Taco Bell. And then it got turned on me. Why do you have to be such a jerk? And I just stopped texting her at that point. That was roundabouts when T9 text messaging was popular. Some of you old enough to remember that? I mean, that night my nerves were already frazzled because I had to drive down an extremely icy interstate to get home from my other job. And so my nerves were frazzled from all the other idiots out on the road besides me, and worrying about sliding off the road or getting hit by a car that is sliding. I just couldn't do it. And I ended up getting called the bad guy for that, but it turned out like it never happened, only like a day later. And all of a sudden she's asking me for favors again. Monetarily, though, I was always very, very, very stingy with who I loaned money to. I did loan money to a few people from time to time. When they had a really huge problem come up, actually, it wasn't lending. I set up a rule. I got it from a TV show, I think. Never lend money that you're going to miss. So, like $20, yeah, all right, yeah, that's fine. I thought of it as kind of a fundraiser because my cook at the time, he was offered an opportunity to go to Japan. And he was like, he was thinking about not going, but I said, dude, this is an opportunity that most people in the United States don't ever get. You've got the opportunity. You should go. And he's like, you know what? You're right. And he decided to do a semi fundraiser where he said he wanted to borrow $5 from every person that he could, all of his friends, colleagues, whatever, so he could go to Japan and have money for food, lodging, whatever he needed, souvenirs. And I thought that was kind of a brilliant idea. But when I handed him, I think I gave him $10 instead of $5. Maybe I gave him just $5. I said, dude, you don't have to pay that back. I want you to go to Japan, experience the culture, have a good time, see when you get back. And he came back and, he asked me if he were to think about buying me a souvenir while he was there. What would I want? And I said, well, if you can find a reasonably priced Japanese musical instrument that's not available here in America, that would be fun. Or a toy that you're pretty sure isn't sold in America, that would be fun too. He ended up bringing me back a Japanese Gundam Wing action figure. It's pretty cool. And it's probably worth more than $5, but I was grateful anyway. I mean, he still was thinking of his friends, and we were thinking about him too. We all chipped in so that he could go and experience this. Because how many of you that work in the restaurant industry get an opportunity to travel abroad? I mean, sure, a lot of you can save your tips for however long. But you still got to contend with money, and you got to plan this trip years in advance. And just so you got that jar or 5-gallon water bottle that you throw all your change in at night. And when you decide when that thing gets full, you're going to go on a vacation. And where you end up, who knows? But it takes a really long time to figure that one out. Or to gather the resources to do it. And so when he asked to borrow money, I was more than happy to hook him up because he's a good friend, and it was an awesome opportunity for him. But then there's these other people when you're behind the bar that say things like I said before, hey, I can't afford to pay my tab, but I promise if you hook me up, I will pay you back Thursday. And I just look at him and go, no, sorry, I can't do that for you. I could get in big trouble. Brad keeps track of everything around here. Easiest thing is to blame the manager why you can't do that. But you don't want to do that. If they can't afford to drink, they really shouldn't be out. That's always been my philosophy on it, and especially when it comes to the non-tippers, they drink 2 beers and pay exact change for those 2 beers and say, "Sorry, I can't tip you tonight." Well, what the fuck are you doing out? We'll talk about the tips things later because that's a pretty hefty subject. I remember talking to a guy from emailing back and forth to a guy from Spain who didn't think that tipping was all that important. But I've been doing some research here lately here in America, and that'll make an interesting podcast later. We'll talk about that in a couple episodes. But that's when it came to the customers. Now for coworkers again, I did have a couple coworkers that were having some serious problems when it came to like family problems. One of my coworkers, her son was very sick at the time. Last I heard, it's been years since I've heard from her. Last I heard, he was doing just fine. But handing money over to her so that she could handle medical expenses, do some special things because he was in a really bad situation at the time. Handing them over money so he could do some really fun special things. Just in case, that's the way I felt about it. That wasn't a huge problem for me. I didn't loan her like hundreds of dollars, but situations where it was like $5 here, $20 there. Yeah, go for it. And we were pretty good friends. And last I heard, her son is doing just perfectly. But I'm going by information that's probably about 5-6 years old, and I still hope that he's doing great. But there were times where it became really hard with coworkers because you could see your coworkers. Video poker comes into play. Everybody's got their vices, alcohol, gambling, smoking, and with video poker for bartenders and servers, it's really easy to finish up your shift, go over to the place that's open the latest, and play some video poker for a little while. I mean, a lot of you people can agree with me. I'm actually wonder from time to time if people, bartenders, waitresses, whatever in Las Vegas, after they get off work at the casino, they stop by another casino or something and just they sit back and blow off some steam, relax for a little bit, play some slot machines, play some cards, whatever. But if you get too far into it, you start falling down the rabbit hole. And then all of a sudden you realize, I just spent my entire night's tips. Well, I had a friend that she would do that. There was a period of time where she was very lucky with the video poker machines. And she had one holiday season that she and I were working together. She hit it big constantly on the poker machines. She had some really good luck on the scratch tickets we sold behind the bar. And when you win a lot at first, then all of a sudden like most people, when they become compulsive gamblers, they think they can get the money back. And it came down to it at one time where she would go to the next door bar to visit the other bartender. No, visit our friend bartender, and then she'd jump on the video poker machine. Then all of a sudden she realized that she just spent all of her tips, and then she would ask me, "Hey, can I borrow $20?" I'd give it to her because I figured she was good for it. And then a little bit later, "Hey, can I borrow $20?" I'd give it to her because I figured she was good for it. And before long, she owed me something like $200-300. And at one point I was like, that's too much. Even as good of a friend as she was, I can't loan her any more money because not only is she spending her tips, she's spending mine. And because she didn't pay me back right away. It would have felt better probably if she would have paid me back with the next night's tips, but then she would take the next night's tips, go over to the poker machine and try to win her money back from the night before. Typical gambler situation. Am I right? But for a long time, I kept my mouth shut. Yes, she was borrowing a lot of money. Yes, I did have a problem with it, but I didn't have the balls to tell her no. Until one night. I got off my shift, and then she came over to my bar, and I was off shift already, and we were just there to hang out with the bartender that was on duty. She went over to the video poker machines, and she dropped all of her tips into a video poker machine, and then she turns to me and says, "Hey, can I get $20?" And I looked her in the eye, and I said, "No, I need that money tonight." Because I had bills and my cell phone bill and all that stuff due, and car payment. And I said, no, I need my money tonight. And that upset her really, really bad. And there were ways that she justified it, because I was living at home with my parents at the time. And so I didn't have rent. All I had was my car payment and my cell phone payment, but I was playing video poker too much at the time too. And, I was just trying to just chill, hang out. She asked me if I could borrow money. And when I told her no, that set her off. It actually kind of ruined our friendship for a period of time. And at that point I sat back and said, okay, maybe I won't loan money to people anymore, because she got used to it. It got, and her addiction to gambling, caused our friendship to falter for quite some time. We're back to being friends again, but, yeah, things changed. But what I'm trying to say is, I mean, it's not like you shouldn't help people. It's, just one of those things that you have to kind of use your best judgment. It actually makes me start to wonder if there can be heroes anymore, just because, I've seen a lot of crap on the news and everything, And also, even watching the Avengers, a movie, it made sense that after the battle in New York, somebody got on the news and said, "Who's going to pay for all this damage?" So they would have to go after the superheroes to repair New York, and and then it starts to make me, it depresses me actually, that it would actually be harder to help somebody than to just let them go off. Now, here's what I'm saying. Say you're a bartender, and, well, some of you, hopefully, that are listening to this, don't have to pretend. Say one night you're bartending or serving, and one of your customers passes out, and or starts complaining they're choking. Let's do something simple here. They start to choke on their food that they're eating that night because they laughed at some kind of penis joke that they just heard. All of a sudden, you see they're starting to choke. They can't breathe. They can't talk. You perform the Heimlich maneuver on them, and you get whatever's in their throat dislodged. Yes, but you accidentally break their rib at the same time while you were performing the Heimlich maneuver. Now, I have read thousands upon thousands of stories where the person that performed the Heimlich maneuver got sued because they broke the person's rib. And so what are you supposed to do after that? Just next time you see somebody choking on a piece of food, just let them choke and die, or pretend you don't know CPR. Well, that's kind of what I do. I warn people at most of my jobs. Yes, I know CPR, but I have no intention of using it. So keep your ass safe. That it usually gets a laugh, but I'm usually pretty serious about that. Not saying that I wouldn't. If the situation came up, I would want to save the life. But what are the ramifications from it? Even ambulance drivers, when they're performing chest compressions, they break the sternum or the xiphoid process in the person's chest as they're giving chest compressions, and they end up getting sued for that. And everybody's just sue happy, and so. But there's also dangers out there. You're bartending or serving one night, somebody who you kind of know, not that well. They say, "Hey, can I get a lift home?" And you just decide, "Yes, okay, I'll give you a ride home." And then something bad happens to you on the way home. Like, say, a car accident. You accidentally get hit by a car, and then all of a sudden, the guy that you decided to take back to his place, sues you for getting in a car accident. And that's bad. But there are also even worse situations, way worse situations. Like, I was reading on social media, some people that talk about this sort of thing, where they drive somebody home and they end up getting raped. And it's like, my God. And you want to be nice. It would be great to be a hero, but there are so many legal liabilities in trying to help somebody out. You don't want to help people out anymore. You try to take it to court one day, and all of a sudden you're telling the judge he was choking, and so I helped him. Well, obviously you didn't know CPR that well, so there's negligence involved, which ended up him getting injured. So, yeah, he gets your wages for the next 6 to 10 years. That's just sickening. But there's Good Samaritan laws been put in place since I read most of those stories when it comes to CPR and all that stuff. But the accident victims, rape victims, there's it's, you just want to be nice, and then all of a sudden something incredibly horrible happens, and it's a sick world. You start to lose faith in humanity. And so what is in the year 2020, what has everybody gone to do? Instead of helping somebody or when a situation arises, they take out their cell phone and videotape it. I've heard there's potential for laws out there where if you make a video of somebody that obviously needs help, or if they're a fight or something like that, they're thinking about making a law where you could get in trouble. Don't quote me on this. This is just something that I heard through another person, through another person, through another person. You can get in trouble for that. It's like, even videos where you see somebody that is falling off a bridge. They're hanging on for dear life. What does a nearby person do instead of calling 911? No, they use their phone to videotape it and go, "Oh my God, somebody really should help them." Shit. It's sickening. But I'm not saying don't help out your friends. I'm not saying don't help out your customers. But, we all have the best intentions out there when we're bartending and serving, because we want our customers to come back and spend money, or we just want to see them again. Because they're great people. But sometimes you've got to let somebody down because you can't, they're not going to pay you back, or you're not driving that direction, and you're at the time back when I used to bartend, gas was really expensive compared to what it is right now in July of 2020. But when doing favors, just make sure you don't get taken advantage of. That's the bottom line. People, at one point or another, you're going to feel like you're being taken advantage of. You might not be, but be able to say no once in a while. That's what you got to do. And to hell with the ramifications. If they, like when I told you that somebody asked me for a ride, and and it was snowing, ice outside, and I told them no, I'm not doing that. She ended up calling, saying, how come you have to be such an asshole? And that told me how good of a friend she actually was. And so, yeah, that pretty much set the standard for me from then on out, especially when I would drive her to work, because she didn't have a car. Every once in a while I'd drive her to work, and one day I was short on cash, and I said, I need money for gas. I'm completely broke, and I need money for gas. If you want to ride to work, you're going to have to chip in. Oh, sure. And then she hands me $40, and she said, go ahead and keep it, because you drive me to work a lot. And then about a month later, she all of a sudden says, hey, remember that $40 I loaned you? And I said, that was a loan? And she goes, yeah, well, I need that money. And I was like, all right, fine. I never loaned her a penny after that. So, and, just remember that you can say no. Sure, there might be some kind of ramifications to it, but then you got to sit back and wonder, how big of an asshole they are for putting you in that situation. I don't know. Anyway, enough of this. Let's get on to this week's musical guest. I'm going to admit this. This is just a song that I think is really cool. I've liked it for a very long time. I probably should have asked permission to use it, but if they have a problem with it, they can always call me, and I can always change this particular podcast. But this particular podcast, this is just a song that I've loved for a really long time that I'm pretty sure you guys will love too. From their 1990 album, Save This House, this is Spirit of the West with their song Home for a Rest.
You'll have to excuse me, I am not at my best. I've been gone for a month, I've been drunk since so-called vacations will soon be my death. I'm so sick from the drink, I need home for a rest. We arrived in December and London was cold. We stayed in the bars along Charing Cross Road. We never saw nothing but brass taps and oak. Kept the shine on the bar with the sleeves of our coats. You'll have to excuse me, I'm not at my best. I've been gone for a week, I've been drunk since I left. And these so-called vacations will soon be my death. I'm so sick from the drink, I need home for a rest. Take me home. Houston Station, the train journey north. In the buffet car, we lurched back and forth past old crooked dikes, through Yorkshire's green fields. We were flung into dance as the train jigged and reeled. You'll have to excuse me, I'm not at my best. I've been gone for a week, I've been drunk since I left. And these so-called vacations will soon be my death. I'm so sick from the drink, I need home for a rest. Take me home. By the light of the moon, she tripped through the streets. A rare old perfume, so seductive and sweet. She teased and flirt as the pubs all closed down, then walk us on home and deny us around. You have to excuse me, I'm not at my best. I've been gone for a month, I've been drunk since I left. And these so-called vacations will soon be my death. I'm so sick from the drink, I need home for a rest. Take me home. The gas heater's empty, it's down past the tomb. The spirits we drank, and a ghost in the room. I'm knackered again, come on sleep, take me soon. And don't lift up my head till the 12 bells at noon. You'll have to excuse me, I'm not at my best. I've been gone for a month, I've been drunk since I left. And these so-called vacations will soon be my death. I'm so sick from the drink, I need home for a rest. Take me home.
Once again, that was Spirit of the West from their 1990 album Save This House. That was their single Home for a Rest. I just love that song. It's just so much energy and fun. Good friend of mine told me about that song a long time ago. He said he was in a bar in Canada and the song just started playing and just people just ran out to the dance floor. And when it got to that part, Take Me Home, everybody just screamed it. And you got to love a song that can do that to a crowd, don't you? But anyway, people, it is last call for alcohol. Come on up to the bar because I'm not going to walk out there. Commute would kill me. So anyway, thank you so much for to Spirit of the West for letting me use Home for a Month for this week's music choice, whether they know it or not. The song is awesome. Go check them out. Go download it. They're available on iTunes. They're probably available everywhere. Thank you so much to Abraham Ace Castellanos. I'll have his name on the website. For letting me use, whether he knows it or not, the Frisky Sour recipe for the beginning of the show. Go out, try it. Let me know what you think of it. Let Abraham know what you think about it. Because we, some of us want to know what the drink tastes like before we send it out to our customers. If you want to be a part of, just remember, people, if you want to be a part of the show, I'd love to have you on, talk about your bar experiences and whatnot. Email me, dude, at heybartenderpodcast.com. We can see about getting you on the show. If you're a musician out there and you have some music that you want to be put out in public, I'd love to help you guys out too. Email me, dude, at heybartenderpodcast.com. I'm also available on social media, Facebook and Instagram, Hey Bartender Podcast. I'm on Twitter once in a while, Hey Bartender PO1. Yeah, if you guys want to be a part of the show, I love to have you. And just remember, you go over to www.heybartenderpodcast.com. You can get to listen to the most recent episode, links to the old episodes, the popular drink recipe for that particular week. And you can also pick up some Hey Bartender Podcast swag. And remember, until the end of the month of July, if you use the Dude20 and the promo code at checkout, you get 20% off your entire purchase. So help support Hey Bartender Podcast by picking up a t-shirt today. But until next time, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening. This is a fun show to do, you know? So, anyway, as usual, I gotta wish you all the same thing I do every episode. Lots of love, lots of sex, lots of happiness, and don't take any shit from anyone. Good night.
What do you mean it's last call? I just got here.